Hey there, winos. This is Vince.Wine, and today it's time to talk about Ridge Vineyards. I've got the 2012 and the 2018 Zinfandel from California's Paso Robles AVA. Let's pop the corks on these bad boys and give these Zins a try on today's Uncorked. Thanks for joining me. And before we get started today, if you want to be a winoceros, hit subscribe on this channel to become a wino today. I'll put out new videos every single Saturday, so make sure you hit that bell icon to stay notified for more great wine content. So if you're a fan of this channel, you know that I sort of have a love-hate relationship with Zinfandel and kind of with Petite Sirah as well. I really like Zinfandel and I really hate Zinfandel. So here's what it is. I really prefer Zins when they are much older, and it's the same with Petite Sirah for this reason. They are jammy. Yeah, Petite Sirah and Zins in particular are the most jammy style of varietals. And you know, when we're sort of new wine drinkers, we tend to gravitate towards those really fruity style wines because we almost perceive them as sweet, even though they're actually not sweet. They're just pretty fruity, but that makes them so approachable. If I'm gravitating towards a Zin or craving one, I want an aged Zinfandel because they are going to pick up so much more complexity, things like leather and just these aged characteristics of fruit, and suddenly all that jamminess turns more into like this rustic style wine. So that's why I've got the exact same wines here. This is the 2012 Ridge Paso Robles Zinfandel, and you can see even my bottle's a little dirty there. It's just been in the cellar for some time here, but this is 100% from Zinfandel from the Paso Robles AVA, and this is Benito Dusi Ranch. Now, I have to do a video on Dusi Vineyard because I love Dusi wines. They, I think, are the best Zins on earth, and there is a particular winery there, J. Dusi, who does some fantastic wines. I pretty much love everything Janelle produces at Dusi Vineyards, and other big hitters, for example, Turley, who made Zinfandel famous, produce wines from the Dusi Vineyard as well. And today I'm going to compare that with the 2018 Ridge Paso Robles Zinfandel, so you can see this is the exact same wine. It's 100% Zinfandel from the Benito Dusi Ranch. Let's pop them open. I said pop them open, but we're actually going to use our friend Corbin today because I don't want to waste these bottles. Okay, so I think we should start with the 2018 first. I just noticed that they sort of stepped their game up here in 2018. You've got that really cool Ridge emblem on the capsule there, whereas the 2012 did not. Ridge is really a very high-end, super known and recognized producer. They are definitely a Zinfandel house. I think they make over like 15 different vineyards of Zinfandels, so they just do 100% Zin from different California AVAs. Rockpile Vineyard, Dusi Vineyard in Paso Robles. Their other very famous one is Lytton Springs in the Geyserville, Sonoma area. But they're also known for their Montebello region, which is in the Santa Cruz Mountains, another AVA very close to my heart. And from there they do cabs and cab blends, and then they also are known for their Rhone varietals. So seriously, I would say that's it though. It's their cabs, their Zins for sure, and then their Rhone varietals. That's the Syrah, Mourvedre, and Grenache style wines. Okay, without further ado, I'm definitely looking for probably that jammy characteristic. This is Dusi fruit, so I have the feeling I'm going to be in love with this, even being so young, but it's that condition that I want to distinguish between. Let's get a closer look at this. Okay, so this is a really nice color here. It's a 2018 vintage and still really bright and a nice sort of ruby red there. Just a little bit of maybe some magenta as we get towards the rim here, but it really is getting into that sort of red coloration here. Very low concentration, which is nice for Zinfandel because those tend to be so inky at times, right? So it's great that this is going to be a much more serious, more elegant wine. As I turn my glass, yeah, pretty nice viscosity there, so that's great. That's a great tell about the body, and then not too much staining on the glass, so yeah, a bit more of a lighter style, more serious wine. Let's get it on the nose. I shall volatilize the esters and open up those aromatics. Oh yeah, okay, so this is not screaming out of the glass, but it is right away giving me some good fruit. Yeah, and that's not the first thing that hits me, which really, see, I knew I was gonna put my foot in my mouth with this one in particular because it's such a high-end producer and such a beautiful classic vineyard for Zinfandel, but it is showing me gravel. That's the first thing I'm getting. I am getting this really earthy, kind of stony complexity on there, and it's a little bit smoky. It's like a smoky kind of flint. There may be a kiss of sulfur issue on there, but that is certain to blow off. Wow, how funny. I'm actually not getting like a punch you in the face kind of jamminess to this, at least not on the nose. Certainly it's a jammy condition of fruit, but it's not like a jam bomb. And underneath that, I'm actually getting a little bit of oakiness, something like a pretty sort of vanilla in there too. Let's see how that all translates together on the palate. Okay, yeah, there is certainly a seriousness and an elegance to this wine, so not a great example for what I was trying to accomplish today with the whole younger equals more jammy. Certainly the condition of the fruit here is a jammy condition of fruit. I'm also getting a little bit of black licorice with this as well, but it really does sort of finish almost like an old world wine, where old world wines like France, Italy, Spain, Germany, those finish with like an earthy complexity, and New World wines, that's like New Zealand, South America, and North American wines, those finish with a fruity complexity. So this is finishing with some like stony earth complexity. It is a little bit too light and too simple. It's kind of straightforward for me. So just in reviewing this wine on its own, I would say this is like a B+. It's fine. But let's do see, no pun intended, let's do see, how the 2012 compares and see if we can get a more aged complexity on that. Oh yeah, look at that lighter coloration already. You can tell it's got a little bit more of like a rusty color in there, but that's just as I'm pouring it. So let's actually get a closer look. Okay, so for 2012, this does have pretty similar coloration to the last. The concentration is a little lighter. I can see my hand a bit more clearly, and there's not too much as far as rim variation, which is that pulling back of color here that would denote that it has aged, although you can see just a little kiss of browning along the rim. I don't know if you can see that. It's a little bit like kind of a rusty, more orange along the rim there, and those are the signs of age on this wine. I'm really excited to get this one on the nose. So this is definitely their mid-shelf level wine, but it was in my price range and from a very distinguished producer. Oh, I can already tell you this is killer. The fruit here is a much more like candied condition. I love that. It's like, it reminds me of sort of like a hard candy or something like that. Oh, and there is that gorgeous Paso Robles limestone, really comes out a lot more on this vintage. Let's get it on the palate. There is evolution here. That has really integrated and homogenized all the flavors, that smoky sort of pepper, that stony terroir, the limestone, and what was once jamminess that more turned into dried and candied condition of fruit has really come together, and it's all playing so nicely and adding to a complexity that is just to die for. This is a huge treat. So I have to say, I am very pleased that I'm enjoying this because it does sort of prove my point that Zinfandel needs time. This is really a wonderful treat. It's so complex, it's so elegant, it's light on the palate, but it's hitting in all the right places. So I'm super happy with this. Okay, good acidity and a decent tannin structure here makes this a good food wine for sure. But you know what? I think that at this tier level, the flavor profile is so delicate that I probably wouldn't want to do this with food. I think I would enjoy this 2012 just on its own. I would just enjoy this as an aperitif before my meal, or as the meal, or for dessert. Well, there you have it, winos. I really just wanted to finally dive into a young Zinfandel versus an old Zinfandel, and I kind of want to do that also with Petit Syrah. Now, this was my first sort of jump into the Paso Robles Zins and the Dusi Vineyard, and I want to spend more time there in future videos. I gotta show you guys some of my favorite Paso wineries, and that would certainly include winemakers that use Dusi Vineyards. I think that'd be a lot of fun, and I can't wait. I also touched a little bit on Ridge's Montebello, which is in the Santa Cruz Mountains, and Santa Cruz Mountains definitely has my heart, and I've got to show you some really cool wines from there as well, but that'll be in a future video. Let me know if you have any recommendations. If you enjoyed what you saw here today, please leave me a like. That helps so much. Don't forget to share this video with your wine friends, and until next time, winos, drink safe and drink well. Cheers. Cheers.